Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm making this video for you guys because I want to show you some cool ways that you can make maps using video games such as Warhammer Total War for your games of Dungeons & Dragons. So I've been running a lot of games virtually, as I imagine many of you have for the last year or so with the pandemic. And, there's a lot of great maps online, but there's also a lot of great maps that you can just find in a game like Total War. This is one of my favorite games of all time. I've put in way more hours than I'm proud to admit, but the graphics in this game are incredible, and it's a shame sometimes because they do such a great job of really fleshing out the world with all the little corner cases, or like the corners of the maps, or small little details that your armies can't really get to. But they're nice to admire while you're waiting for a game to load. But it also got me thinking, now that I'm mostly doing games virtually, it's all just JPEGs, I could also be playing games with my friends using these really cool maps and encounters, or environments that have already been created by a team of amazing professionals at Creative Assembly. So with that, I wanted to show you guys how I go about making a map. It's pretty simple, so we'll just dive in and get started. First up here, we see that we have the loading screen, so I'm just going to, I'm gonna go to battles. I have a couple of replays, and then for this particular one, pretty map. That sounds like a good thing to work with. For any of you that are unfamiliar with the game Warhammer Total War, this is the penultimate real-time strategy game I've played in my life. I've played a lot of Warcraft 3, StarCraft 2, Age of Empires, but this is just a perfect fusion of fantasy, real-time tactics, and amazing gameplay and graphics. It is just so goddamn cool. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do, now that we've started the battle, is I'm going to pause it, because I don't actually care what happens in the fight. Now I'm going to hit K on my keyboard, and that gets rid of all of the heads-up display, or all the little unit cards that you might see. So, as you can see, just moving around the map, this is a beautiful alpine, mountainous region. So I'm trying to think what would be a cool... Actually, this looks like a cool little... I like things with different types of elevation. So this cliffside looks like it could be pretty nice. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and hide my mouse down here without actually touching the corner of the screen. Otherwise, it will jerk away. So now I'm just going to hit Control F12. I have taken a screenshot. And now, let's see, maybe a different angle, that might be nice too. Or some more of the surrounding area, so if the players are leading up to it, they can see it. So F12, and then let's see this. I think there was like a castle over here. Oh no, might have been another map. I mean, it's also nice if you just want like a nice bird's eye view, as the bird flies, vista, or you could say this, they're on top of a mountain and they see this in the distance. I don't know if I can get close enough to this spire. Plus, I don't know if that makes, you can zoom in if you hit N on the keyboard, and then you can scroll out from there. I mean, that's a cool image. You could put guys up top there, but that's just a little too flat, a little too distant. Oh, hit escape, it gets me out of K. But let's just do one of... That's cool. It's like, okay. Actually, this could be a nice map too. So you see like the shallow parts of the water here. There's a cliff, although it's a little dark, but maybe I can edit that to brighten it up. Got the woods, so I'm just going to hit screenshot again. Okay. So now I've gone ahead, I've taken, I think, 3 photos, different areas, and I think this is going to make for some really cool map design. So now I'm going to exit out of this, quit to Windows. So I've already gone ahead and renamed and saved these other 3 photos. Typically when I have like an environment that I'm taking photos of, I try and give it all the same word. So for this example, I'm using Alpine. So I have Alpine Lake, Alpine Vista, Alpine Cliff, and this will be Alpine Cliff 2. So saving that in pictures. So now this looks like it is good to go. I can exit out of this. Okay, so now I have Fantasy Grounds open. I'm going to click on the Open Data folder on the top right-hand corner, and then I'm going to go to Campaigns, And for this particular example, I'm trying to think so I can put it in, I think, just one of the folders for all the different campaigns that I have going on. I'm most likely going to use this in probably my Frozen Terror campaign. I imagine this could be something that I can use as Icewind Dale when it thaws out a little bit more. So now, having my second screen, I'm just going to select the 4 images, click on them, and I'm just going to drag them over into here. And actually, I want to bring those up into images specifically. So now you can see here I have a bunch of other maps that I have made, or images rather, that I brought over. So I'll exit out of this, exit out of that. I'm going to load the campaign. This was Frozen Terror, so it's going to give it a second. Also, you can do this on Roll20, I believe. I don't have a lot of personal experience with Roll20, but I imagine the principles are the same. You take an image, like a map or like a JPEG or a PNG file, and then you just upload it, throw a grid on it, and you're good to go. So, for example, I'm now going to go to Images. I'm just going to type in Alpine, or just ALP. Oh, this interesting, doesn't have the other two, maybe I misspelled it. Alright, so then let's just take the lake. So there it is. This looks pretty good actually, it looks about the same, but I can go back in and post that, or edit that and post later. So now if I wanted to, I can add a layer, enable mask, so now the players won't be able to see anything until I expose it to them. So I could say, like, maybe this corner of the screen, you guys, you see this as you approach the lake. So I could reveal the map to them bit by bit as they explore, but because this is like an open outdoor area, I'm just going to enable them to see everything. I could add a grid if I wanted to. This is a little bit of a skewed view, so the distances wouldn't exactly match up, but that's okay. You can also kind of eyeball things, and you can give them some measurements and say, like, all right, from this tree to that tree, that's about 5 feet or so, and I can go to, let's see, NPCs. What would be a good monster that would be encountered here? Say there's an Ankylosaurus. Why not? And it's just hanging out, so I'll throw that into the combat tracker. And now I'll just drag that. That's an Ankylosaurus. Wow, I gotta get better tokens for that. And then I can shrink this as I want, place it where I need to. Let's say we have Skinner the Drow over here. They come to some sort of strange looking fallen tree or log, and then they pass a perception check, or they bump into it, and then they realize that it's actually an Ankylosaurus, and really it's not even an Ankylosaurus, it's some sort of horrible, terrifying devil Allosaurus thing. Yeah, and then combat can go from there. And if I wanted to add a grid with layers, you just do set grid. That seems relatively reasonable. I mean, it does kind of take away from the prettiness of the map, but if you need to know like where people are on the grid, this will help out with that. So if I want to keep this, I can save this to one of my tabs down below. I hold down Shift. There we go. Image Alpine Lake. So if I exit out of this, the next time I want to pull it up, click on that. There we are. The enemies are hidden again, but it's good to go for the next time we need to use it. So that is how you make a map using Warhammer Total War for your games of Dungeons & Dragons Online. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, let me know in the comments below. I'll be uploading more videos. I'll probably do some more of these too, maybe show you some examples of how to then go ahead and build an encounter using these maps. If you guys have a game that you really like the look of and you think will match the tone and the aesthetic of the campaign that you're making, go ahead, take some screenshots, get creative. You can add in more things. If you want to do some image editing yourself, add in a couple more features. If you have another map making tool and that you can add a little more detail to liven up the maps, go for it. But this has just been a really neat way for me to enjoy the little hidden gems that the team at Warhammer puts into these games, and then B, also bring it to life to my players and share it with my groups, because these maps are really cool. It is fun, and sometimes even just like a whole new encounter can spring to life just by seeing, like, oh, this one cool corner of the map, this could be an interesting location for some sort of fight or cave or trap. There's a lot of fun you can have with this stuff, so definitely check it out. Thanks again for watching. If you guys haven't subscribed, I would appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button. It helps the channel grow, and I'm hoping to make more videos like this that'll help you guys, whether you're players, dungeon masters, or just curious about D&D. And remember, whatever life throws at you, roll with it.